What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chaos. So welcome to a new episode of Take It to the Table, hosted by Wrestling Republic. I am joined here by none other than Mr. Rymz. What's up, Mr. Rymz?
Yo, all good. How you been?
Yeah, I've been good, man. I'm good. Trying to not get stressed out by this little company we know called WWE. But yeah,
God,
we move.
Yeah, it's a very hard time to be a fan.
Really, really hard times. You know, we got to delve into quite a few things, man. Definitely. So yeah, of course, what we're going to be talking about is, of course, Survivor Series that's just been and gone, and as well, we're gonna actually want to get your thoughts on the releases, the latest releases, Mr. Rymz, because I know I've touched upon it. We've all been talking about it amongst ourselves, but I want to get your thoughts on camera. And if we've got enough time, also get your thoughts on the last AEW pay-per-view. If you think it bettered Survivor Series or not, or just give your two takes or whatever. But yeah, that's what we're going.
We can dive into that. I'm here for it.
Of course.
We got my full attention.
Awesome. Yeah. So before we get into that, also guys, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. That means a lot. And make sure obviously you follow us at Wrestling Republic. And also at official_TITTT. Thought I'd just get that out of the way. But without further ado, let's take it to the table. Okay. So yeah, Survivor Series 2021 has been and gone as less than 24 hours from now.
Yeah, very true.
And yeah, I'm just gonna say right off the bat. It was pretty. Why you laugh? Why is it that deep? Like what did I say something wrong?
I mean, Survivor Series this year was.
It was Survivor Series by name. It was only Survivor Series by name, in my opinion.
Right. It was a tough watch. It really was.
It really was. Not to say that it was an absolute dumpster fire. It wasn't like ECW this December to Dismember bad, but just
everyone rips on that pay-per-view. But funny enough, I've never watched it, so I don't actually know what's wrong with it or what was wrong with it. But everyone rips on that pay-per-view. I feel like
I dare you to go and watch it. And I want to hear your thoughts of what was the hype, what was so bad with it. But yeah, I'm not saying it was to those levels kind of bad, but yeah, there was a lot of problems leading into this pay-per-view. There was a lot of problems within the payper-view. Fans pretty much hijacked the show multiple times. There was talks about, there was minor freakouts in the back due to time constraints and obviously certain chants that the fans was chanting as well during the show, which was mad awkward.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely, since that is officially the last pay-per-view of 2021 for WWE, it went out with a whimper. Definitely.
Right, and it's really weird because Survivor Series isn't normally the last pay-per-view. It's like TLC or something.
Yeah. But it completely rid of that, and we're going to get WWE Day 1 on January 1st.
I'm interested to see what that's going to be. Is it going to be like a pay-per-view, or is it going to be like a network special kind of thing? Like, what kind of feel are they going to give us?
Right now, it looks like they're not sure because they were promoting it during the show, but it just looked like any pay-per-view. I don't think they even know what it's meant to be because you just saw like this little slideshows of different superstars, a generic theme, and then you just see the logo. I don't know. I don't think even they know what it's meant to be. We all know that WWE has been for the last few years, especially when it comes to their TV shows, everything is last minute. But it's becoming more and more apparent, more last minute than ever these days. Like. It literally, the way, going back to Survivor Series, the way they have planned that, or they put everything behind Crown Jewel and everything, and then literally, I'm pretty sure in the back when Crown Jewel was done and they got their money, they did their quarterly results and everything, they were just like, oh shit, Survivor Series is in 2 weeks. Let's just cobble up these teams together, put it on Twitter, boom, done. There was no. Go on.
But what I read, I think it was on one of the main ones, but the main fights. What I don't even know. But I think what it was is because they like they really shoved Crown Jewel down our throats. Like it really was like a, you know, it was like a buzzword. It was, you know, a trend. It was a marketing ploy. It was on UK radio. It was on UK TV. It was on billboards. It was on. I think I even saw one on the side of a bus. And you know, WWE don't normally do that. So it was like literally Crown Jewel was everywhere for literally like their first Saudi show back. Mind you, I feel like considering the marketing, yes, the show did deliver to that degree. But then it's like, I think earlier, but I read that because they had done that, they were relying on the fans to understand that Survivor Series is the big four, so we're meant to watch it regardless, as opposed, and so they only marketed it the week before Survivor Series. So their kind of marketing was so big for Crown Jewel that they didn't want to like overdo it with Survivor Series as well. So they kind of just like assumed that as fans we'd watch it.
Yeah, as fans, we watch it, but I'm gonna say in terms of its value, Survivor Series value has dwindled. It's been a downward spiral for years. So for them to actually think like that and just say, oh, it's brand supremacy, you know, it's all about these two teams that have barely been on this show for 3 weeks, for them to care and, you know, wave the flag for their respective show. It doesn't, you know, I genuinely miss the days when it wasn't about brand supremacy. It was in-house storylines, and it was like Team Triple H versus Team Umaga, or Team DX versus Team RKO. Like, you know, them kind of, you know, Team Authority versus Team Cena. Them kind of things mattered. It makes you care about the pay-per-view. This brand supremacy thing, it doesn't work out. It just doesn't work out, and it was more evident in this one. You know, and and the thing with the heel operate, like we're back with basically heel authority figures now. I thought we were dead and gone with that. All of a sudden, you know, 1 week, Adam Pearce, or whatever his name is, says that he wants Raw to win. Last Friday, all of a sudden, he says he wants SmackDown to win. And, you know, I'm just like, it's cold, contradictory, illogical shit. But, yeah, whatever. I don't know what to say. But right, yeah.
It's just like, you know, it's a lot.
It's definitely a lot. Okay, so I mean, we can let's get going to all the matches. To be fair, I did not watch the kickoff show. I over time. But I've seen the highlights. I did see the highlights and saw what happened, and that was that gave me more reason why not to watch it, because it looked like the ending was fucking ridiculous. So the for those that haven't seen it, so the kickoff show started was where the United States champion and the Intercontinental champion got shafted too, which was obviously Damian Priest versus Shinsuke Nakamura with Rick Boogs in his corner.
Yeah.
And
to be honest, the match actually wasn't bad, and
yeah, it looked okay.
It was a decent match. It's only that at the end it was a thing where Priest he didn't hit his finisher. He hit like, I'm gonna say, was it like the sit down choke slam or something?
Yes.
Or it looked like it was gonna be the finish.
Yeah.
And then Blue did the riff or whatever, and then Priest went outside. He snapped the guitar. He hits Rick Boogs, which I was like, isn't that a DQ? And then I was like, well, no, because Rick Boogs was in the match. And then he hits Shinsuke, and then it's a DQ. So I was like, okay, cool. So in the grander scheme, SmackDown got a victory, so I was happy for that. And the other thing is that I feel like it's too early to change Damian Priest.
What do you mean?
I feel like,
What do you mean change Damian Priest? What do you mean?
Well, technically he turned heel.
Yeah. So basically, by the looks of what they're going for is that he's gonna be a face, but then this inner thing inside him, when he gets angry, when his eyes about to pop out, that's when he does heelish things. Because that's what he did with against when he had them couple matches against T-Bar. He was the face, but then when T-Bar does some dumbness to him, he all of a sudden just goes ape shit and does heelish stuff. So I got a feeling they're gonna still do the weird thing where he's still a face, just right there he snapped. That's where they're going with it.
But as you said, and as I've discussed previously on other shows, I am disconnected from Damian Priest. So
yeah,
doing this isn't gonna draw me back in. But I mean, at this point, it is what it is with him.
Yeah,
Shinsuke won. That's what I care about.
Yeah, so Shinsuke won by disqualification because Shinsuke basically pushed Damian Priest saying, "What you doing?" And then Damian Priest was like, well, "Man, fuck you," and then like just clocked him with Rick Books' guitar, and then it ended up being a disqualification. So yeah, Shinsuke wins it for SmackDown. Wasn't a long match; it was about 9 minutes. So that was that. So then we moved into whilst that was, I think either just before or just after that match, when it went to the panel, that's when you started hearing I think Booker T was being Booker T, but then you had people in the crowd started chanting AEW, and it was really awkward. So that got picked up. But then we moved on to the main card, and the first match, surprisingly, I didn't expect it to be the first match. It was Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. And
I read that they were going to do the reverse. I read it was going to be the women main event and Big E and Roman open the show, but then because the women had more. I'm gonna say they had more marketing into their match because they went to all these weird interviews. Which, mind you, I think all of the interviews were a work to a degree.
Right.
So like. Maybe Becky, I mean, understandably in that title exchange, whatever they had, yes, I know that we all read they had words backstage, wherever it was. And I think it was that thing where, there's already this narrative painted of Charlotte backstage, and there's a narrative painted of Becky backstage. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, okay, then, so for the sake of hyping this match, and because they're two big names, we already know that they're going to, like, give us at least a decent match. So it was like, okay, then you know what? Let's just run with it and give it more. So it was more about the politics opposed to the actual match.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But yet the match delivered. Like I was actually invested in the match. I was like, wow, okay.
It was hard hitting. There were certain points where I was just like, is Charlotte going off script? Is Becky going off script? It was really
right.
They definitely played it to their advantage. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Definitely, it was definitely surprising, better than expected. The right person won, 110%.
See, I would disagree only because of I bleed blue. I don't do Raw, so I want. So I wanted SmackDown. This is the only time I'm going to root Charlotte over Becky. So I wanted Charlotte to win, but if they want to, I guess, put Charlotte so if they're going to match these two who are both champions and you're going to put one above the other, if you want to put Becky up there and Charlotte just a notch below, sure, it doesn't really hurt Charlotte because we all know that Charlotte is still Charlotte. Yeah. Whereas Becky Lynch is meant to be this juggernaut, so, it's fine.
Of course, Becky Lynch won for Team Raw via roll-up. She basically beat Charlotte her own game. She did a roll-up of her own. Then Becky countered it. And then waited to the last second to hold on to the ropes, and then held the ropes. Charlotte pretty much I think she just no-selled it and just walked down and started laughing. Charlotte being Charlotte. And then
it was a story that was told for their match.
We were
meant to all be rooting for Becky Lynch in this match, so Charlotte just had to kind of give the I don't care attitude for the match.
But I think because it definitely played into her it definitely played perfectly into her character, because I can't imagine Charlotte going off script and doing like almost like an Austin Aries type of thing where she loses but then she just walks off, no selling, not at all. But it wasn't to that extent. It wasn't to that extent. But yeah, it was just Charlotte being Charlotte. So yeah, no, I get that. And then so that was that. Then he went into the second match, which was the men's match, Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. Team Raw consisted of Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, and Austin Theory. And
all champions except one.
All former champions.
All former champions except one.
Yeah. And then against Team SmackDown, which consisted of Drew McIntyre, Jeff Hardy, King Woods, Happy Corbin, and Sheamus.
Only three champions.
Only three champions, yeah. This one was it was fine. I liked it. It had its moments. Sorry.
I would say that. So with Becky and Charlotte, and then with this match, so they were both like. So I think we've spoken about this. They talk about it on documentaries and stuff. Like the second match is like the death spot.
Yeah.
This match delivered in the second slot. So that's why I feel like when you listen to the rest of the night, the crowd was very burnt out because the first match and this match just took it out of them. Because
we'll get into that in terms of the crowd being burnt out. We'll get into that shortly, but yeah, definitely this match was definitely had everything. Kevin Owens playing his heel character so well. Guy just counted himself out. He didn't give a damn, and he was just playing into. I
think that was meant to be an homage to last year.
Yeah, with Seth Rollins.
Because they were both on the same team last year, both on SmackDown, innit? So and Seth Rollins offered himself or whatever.
That didn't make sense. No, this one makes sense with Kevin Owens. That Seth Rollins thing I didn't really like that. That was really stupid, and I'm even more annoyed that it didn't even bring that up. No one brought that up. You're supposed to be the leader of the team. You were the leader. You were the leader last year, and you made us be one person down. You know, someone should have said something. But yeah, that's them. But yeah, this one it fed into the current storyline of Kevin Owens. You know, the people are making him out to be this person. So fine, fuck it. I'll be that person if that's the case. Whatever. Great moments for a lot of people. Sheamus being great, King Corbin being King Corbin.
Isn't he Happy Corbin now?
Sorry, why am I still calling him King Corbin? Sorry, Happy Corbin. Yes, Happy Corbin with Pyro.
Woods.
Yeah, and King Woods. Yeah,
King Woods.
Came out with it with no scepter, no crown. He came unfinished. He came unfinished into the ring.
But he has a whole new theme, which I didn't realize.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Have they completely split up the New Day?
They will never split up the New Day. That's too much merch for them. They haven't split them, but he's definitely got his own thing during this King Woods gimmick. 100%. I know Kingston's injured right now. Is he injured?
In story. Yeah.
In story.
Because of Roman Reigns doing that, right?
Yeah. So yeah, no, New Day's still gonna be still doing this thing, but they're gonna ride out this King Woods thing for the time being. God knows for how long, but yeah. But he also had a good showing as well in the match as well.
He did.
Drew McIntyre being Drew McIntyre. I did not like that spot where there was a double count out. I hated that.
But you know what? So you remember how we got mad about the outcome of Belair and Becky at SummerSlam, right?
Yeah.
But when you deep it, it's like that was the only way to really build Bianca Belair back up.
But did they build her up? No. Come on now. Since then.
From then, Bianca Belair she's not been downplayed. She's only been kind of elevated since SummerSlam. She hasn't been a champion, but she's been on a roll kind of thing. Like she's not like dwindling or like lesser than, or she's kind of to a degree one of the only non-horsewomen that's being held to their standard.
Okay.
Almost. Does that make sense?
She's getting TV time. She's not being squashed or anything like that, but there's yet to be a payoff. She's had multiple title opportunities and she just hasn't cashed them in. It's really, I don't know what they do. Like, is she gonna get a second title reign or not? Like right now, I don't think she's a worthy contender to take the title of Becky right now because of how they've handled it. So
I get that, but then so moving. Okay, yeah. So we'll get to the Belair situation when we talk about the women's match later. But for now, so as I was saying, so when we talk about SummerSlam match, we were like, that's the only kind of way the match could have gone for the greater good. With this one, you've got McIntyre and Lashley, who are literally the former champions or whatever, and they are the juggernauts of both of the brands. So you can't have Lashley lose and you can't have McIntyre lose. The only way that you're going to eliminate them was if you were a counter or a DQ. But McIntyre's not going to get DQ'd, and to DQ Lashley, like, as much of a hothead as he wants to be, it wouldn't have made sense for how he got himself onto the team in the first place to just go into the match and just get yourself disqualified. Does that make sense? So I think the only way you were going to eliminate them to allow everyone else to shine was to have them be counted out. Yes, it's like in the moment you're like, oh, like really, but it's kind of like when they used to always have Nia Jax be counted out. It's like it's the only way you can get her to be eliminated because these tiny frail women are not going to beat her. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
It's with them two, I understand it. I may not in the moment be like, oh yes, I'm happy with the decision, but it made sense for the match to be able to continue and not be about them. Which I'm glad, in all honesty, that it wasn't about them because, like I say, they are technically the two biggest people of each of the teams. So the fact that you took them out at the beginning, so then it could be about everyone else, even though Rollins doesn't need the exposure, but it is what it is.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, it was a good match. It was, had its spots. Jeff Hardy getting, the spotlight that he, deserves.
So here's my thing, right? I was like, from the get-go, I think it wasn't even his entrance because weirdly enough, even when his music hit, he didn't get like the kind of reaction that I know that Jeff Hardy gets. Well, or they turned it down, I don't know. Either way, it just sounded like a regular reaction. But then once he got the tag at one point, and then the crowd was just into him. Like, I don't know what it is about him, but I don't know what it is about Jeff Hardy. The crowd are just so into him.
Yeah.
And it's that thing where it's like, he'll be doing like little things here and there, and it'll be like slight little moments where you think to yourself, oh, he might get the win or get the pin, and the crowd are like literally they're just into it. Like he wakes them up.
Yeah.
And then I was like, from the get-go, I said like in a tweet or whatever that I was like, I would love it if they gave Jeff Hardy the Ziggler 2014 thing where he's at where he's going to be the one that like wins for SmackDown, but he has to take out the entire team or something like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, the fact that the crowd went into him, I was like, oh my god, we're going to get that. Like Jeff Hardy's going to do this, and then it was like feeling like that. It really was, and then I was just so gutted at the end. I kid you not, even the crowd, like when he hit the fate, the crowd were going insane.
Yes. Yeah, you got a loud pop.
And then the knees, and then the stomp, and it was just one of those ones where you're just like, the entire crowd was like sighed. Like
this match definitely. Whilst I was watching it, or even before, I think during the entrances, I was thinking the same. Like, why does Seth Rollins need to be in this? And I was just like, it's obviously to further the storyline with him and Big E, and because of that, I just knew that Raw was going to win anyway, regardless. It just, and Raw is obviously Vince's baby, so it just this whole thing was just mainly for Seth and him to obviously have more momentum going into his inevitable match with Big E for the title. So yeah, as much as I would have wanted, it would have been cool to see Jeff Hardy win. Yeah, and just when I realized it was just them two, I was like, yeah, it's definitely Seth gonna win, 110%.
But Seth puts over the older people. Like, I mean, he's been doing it for Edge for the last however many months. So I was like, I would not be surprised if he was like, okay, then Jeff can get the win, or whatever. Which is the whole. And I thought that was going to be the thing when McIntyre headbutted him. Yeah. And then Jeff Hardy went to pin him straight when the crowd was like, oh my god, and then he kicked out at the last second. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
And it was
it makes it definitely makes sense him winning. For otherwise, like, who's gonna believe him? He's got this deadly contract match. This deadly match is coming up against Big E, so it just made sense for him to win. Which
it did, but
it's annoying. I get it.
I wanted Jeff Hardy. I was so like amped, and then once I saw him hit that stomp, I was like, "Come on, Jeff Hardy, you can do one kick out. You can do it." And then it was a 3 count. I was like, "Oh yeah, man," because Jeff Hardy kicks out finishers. He does.
Yeah, he can.
So it's just like one of the ones where like, I just wanted it, like. Almost there, but nah, not quite.
Yeah.
But yeah, that match delivered to me, but yeah.
Fair enough. And then that match was literally just, I thought this one was, I think it could have shaved off a couple minutes, but it was just literally under 30 minutes long.
Wow, it's a whole half an hour?
Yeah, a whole half an hour. Yeah, it took a lot of time. But yeah, that was that. The next match was The Rock's 25th anniversary 25-man dual branded Battle Royal. This is exactly what it's been written on Wikipedia. So yeah, this did not make any sense. this was randomly cobbled up, mainly because of Sami Zayn, only for Sami Zayn to get eliminated. Don't even have a say in this whole thing. And this gets won by Omos, by eliminating Omos, whatever. I can't stand it, against Ricochet. This.
Oh my God! Again, listen to the crowd. Ricochet was over.
He's starting to be that person, like being so close, but yet so far. Like he obviously he's had that a couple times now, but now it's more prominent than ever. That he's almost always there, and he just gets
he's definitely this generation's. Yeah, he's definitely this generation's Dolph Ziggler.
I was about to say, yeah, definitely this. Yeah, they updated the more current version of Dolph Ziggler, and it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, this was just a vehicle to have an accolade for Omos again. It's basically the Black Braun Strowman, basically. That's how.
Yeah, but I feel like the match didn't do anything.
It didn't do shit.
I don't even think it elevated him. It was kind of like he went in dominant and kind of stayed dominant. Yeah. No one really got a chance to shine on. Nothing really happened in the match.
Yeah.
And then I think the moment was meant to be that he technically eliminated AJ Styles, but that kind of got lost in the shuffle because, again, as soon as that happened, he was now fighting off everyone else that was in the ring kind of thing. So it was like, too much was happening. And then only for it to come down to like the final two, and you're like, okay, then so you've got Cesaro and you've got was it Cesaro and Ricochet? I think was final two, whatever.
Final three,
like, okay, yeah. So and then it's like, okay, then Cesaro is not gonna go down easy, and then Ricochet is the king of like little subtle things. Technically, he's the reason Lesnar got eliminated. No one ever mentions that, but they put it all down to Drew McIntyre, but Ricochet started that. He was, but then so that there's always opportunity here, and then it was just one of the things where it's just Cesaro went straight away, and you're like, oh come on, Ricochet, you got this. Like, come on, give me a Ricochet, like hold down the ropes, do something, and then it was just like, nope, Ricochet just got straight over. It's like, oh. It wasn't even like a cheer or anything from the crowd. It was just like
it was deadpan, absolute deadpan. I don't care about Omos. He's literally just a big, tall, as my mom used to say, kubo of a guy. He's just like whatever. He's just like he doesn't do anything for me. Doesn't do anything. But yeah, he won by eliminating Ricochet for this Rock 25th anniversary. They're probably never going to mention it ever. They ain't going to mention it ever again. And yeah, it went.
Pizza Hut.
Was that the match?
That Pizza Hut triple box looked really good.
That was that same match, wasn't it? Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, the triple box. Yeah, so what's your first meal? A pizza. What's your second meal? Another pizza. What's the third meal? Cinnamon buns and stuff. Like, what the fuck, man?
It looked really good. I'm not gonna lie. It's like seeing the people come out and I'm seeing them holding the box, and I'm like, what's this about? And he's like mixing it, so I'm like, oh god, are we going the drug route now? Are we doing the alcohol? They were already doing the alcohol, so I was like, okay, we're already.
Don't tell Vince that. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know what that means. Don't worry. That's why he's letting him do that. And
then it's like, he like, when they come out and then they weren't talking about what the box was, so I was really confused. Yeah. And then it's like, only when they were walking down, you see the logo, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I had to really look to see what it was. Yeah, it was really weird.
Yeah, it's like, they're doing like pizza promo for some reason. But then I'm not gonna lie, like, I really hate that when I'm watching wrestling, whether it be on a stream or on a pay-per-view, they always advertise food.
Yeah, Pizza Hut, like, KFC, Sonic, Domino's, fucking. Yeah, it's always food. Snickers.
Like, American audiences, please, like, we understand that, like, you guys eat a lot, but there's more to life than insurance and health tablets and metabolizers and all that sort of stuff. And food, like, come on, advertise something else. Advertise food all the time.
Oh no, they do advertise something else. Your credit card, get a special edition of Capital One. with a special WWE
Right.
card. Like, fuck off.
Always make you hungry. But yeah, so we digress. What's the next after that?
So the next match was this was the tag team championship match. So this was RK Bro versus the Usos. To be honest, I didn't really care for this match much.
I didn't care for it either because I'm not a fan of RK Bro, not gonna lie. But then I dislike that RK Bro gave the Usos like their worst Survivor Series match. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because whenever they have their matches at Survivor Series, for some reason I think whenever they have tag team ones, the Usos are always involved. Whether it be a Raw one, whether it be a SmackDown, like they're always involved, and all their matches are good. Like Usos don't have bad tag team matches on a big stage, and yet this one just kind of felt very okay.
It wasn't bad, but yeah, it was very meh. Definitely definitely their weakest. I don't really agree with RK Bro winning. I mean, the counter was sweet, but
because he still hit the Usos first. He just got RKO in the process. So okay, sweet. I was like, okay, I dig it because Matt Riddle was still like out and like. I was like, oh. You still let him get hit. You sacrificed him essentially. So I was like, okay, that's still a Randy Orton thing to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Was like really, Raw win again.
Yeah.
So already now, Raw is like 3 wins up, and SmackDown only has 1 at this point.
Pretty much. Again, this was the writing was on the wall for this. I kind of had a feeling regarding the win and loss ratio. But yeah, so yeah, RK Bro won via a like you say, was it Jimmy that took it?
One of the Usos.
No,
it was Jay, the smaller one.
Okay, Jay. So Jay, basically did the splash onto Riddle, but in the process of doing that, he got RKO'd out of his boots, and then 1, 2, 3, RK Bro wins. This match went on for 14 minutes and 50 seconds. Yeah, a bit too long.
I feel like it went on for longer, but sure.
Yeah, it was a bit of a drag, but yeah, that was that. Then next match was the women's Survivor Series elimination match. Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. Team Raw consisted of Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Queen Zelina. That's your baby right there. Again,
there's 3 throwaways in that team, so
I don't know.
She may be like I may have a soft spot for her, but she's still technically a throwaway in this match. So go on.
Yeah. Against Team SmackDown, which consisted of Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Shotzi, Natalya, and Toni Storm. Now,
2 throwaways.
This match was an absolute, in my opinion, a dumpster fire. There was no cohesion, no chemistry, quite a few sloppy moments. This was another match where the crowd was did not care for. There was a lot of AEW chants. There was a lot of CM Punk chants. There was one point where I'm pretty sure as soon as the CM Punk chants happened, immediately WWE put on that cheer.wav file up to 100 because it just sounded out, and then there was a couple boos as well. So I think obviously the crowd was booing people that were saying CM Punk, but as soon as they heard that, they cranked that cheer volume up to 100. But
it was random as well because it's like in the part in the match where they started chanting that, it wasn't even like someone did a move that he does or anything. No,
like that. It was just they were just rebelling. The match was just awful. I mean, people obviously complaining, saying like you're paying your hard-earned cash to start chanting a competition and whatnot. But I mean, you're entitled to you paid your hard-earned money to do whatever you want, whether you want to chew beer, whether you want to cheer or boo people, and say whatever you want. But you can't help the fact that the match was dire, and that it wasn't because the crowd was burned out. The match just didn't go well. There was some cool moments. Toni Storm's finisher, I don't know what that was, but it looked nice.
Dope. I love that finisher.
It's a beautiful finisher. Yeah. 110%. Go on.
Yeah, it's like when you like really like dissect this match, it's like, okay, so you look at I hate doing this. You look at the men's one, right? I feel like every superstar came out a winner that needed to. So fair enough, Lashley and McIntyre didn't need anything from that match, so therefore they get counted out. Then the world still spins, and they're still who they are.
Yeah.
What's it called? Kevin Owens is trying to get to the fact where, because Kevin Owens is one of them ones where, again, heel or face, everyone, he's always going to be over, but he needs to be a heel right now. So him walking out does the job for him. And then it's like, Happy Corbin, for some reason, I don't know what the hell he was doing there, but he was just going to be irritating for everyone. So he played that role. That was fine. Sheamus was kind of reminding us that he is Sheamus. So therefore, he got put over. Jeff Hardy is just Jeff Hardy. He's always going to be over. And then I guess Finn Balor, again, he's always going to be over. And so that everyone kind of got put over in that match. Yeah. Even though, like I say, Seth Rollins didn't need the win, but like you're saying, for the greater good, he needs a biggie. So whatever. Yeah. Everyone got put over. There was a payoff. In this match, there was no payoff for anyone in this match. Literally no one. The only person that paid off in this match was Bianca Belair. And even then, it didn't do anything for her because the people that she beat were not the caliber that she's fighting all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like if it was a thing where, I don't know, it was Banks, it was Bayley, it was Charlotte on the team, and Bianca Belair beat all three of them, yes, that puts her over immensely.
Yes.
But she beat what? Natty, Baszler, and Shotzi, who weirdly enough all eliminated Sasha Banks, which I thought.
But that bit pissed me off. That pissed me off. Yeah, exactly. That there's plenty of times where people have actually going halfway just to break the count and then restart it, and then the crack. But she was doing the exact same thing, and the ref counted her out. What the fuck? That pissed me off so much. Oh my goodness! And that whole thing was sloppy as well. Like there was weird conversation. Yeah, it was. Oh, it was just poor. Absolutely poor. Yeah, really.
Yeah, so it's just like you just did not put anyone over, and then but when it came to the point of it being like, oh, so Bianca Belair was the only one left from Raw, and like literally there was like four people from SmackDown.
Yeah,
I was like,
John Cena them.
Bianca Belair's I was like, Bianca Belair's about to win. I was like, this is how it's gonna be. Yeah. I was like, I don't know how she's gonna do it, but she's about to win. And I thought it was gonna really come down to her and Sasha Banks, and then fair enough, let them to have a moment. I might have been okay with that, but for the way that Sasha Banks got eliminated, it was just kind of really like, and then like. Everything else that just came after that, it was kind of like, you can just throw this whole match away, like we don't care. And then also, it's like the fact that they eliminated like Liv Morgan really early, and isn't she meant to be Becky's next contender? So technically, you're meant to be putting her over, not Bianca Belair. So it was kind of like, well, so now I'm supposed to believe that Liv Morgan is gonna give Becky like a fight of her life when she was like the third person eliminated in the match. And the person who eliminated her was didn't she get like a Shotzi splash and then a frog splash?
Yeah.
So she took two signatures, not even finishers, signatures, and got eliminated. So I'm supposed to believe that she's gonna be Becky Lynch. Okay. Okay.
It's when it comes to there's always that one person where they book really badly in the Survivor Series matches. Like it's been going on for the test of time. Like when was it last year? The one that had Walter in it. That guy is an absolute powerhouse, and he just got squashed in 2 minutes. Never saw him again.
Yeah, everyone was like BS after that, innit?
Yeah, it was. This guy is an absolute machine. Is like the ideal person that Vince would love, and they just completely almost ruined him within 2 minutes. It's absolutely backwards. But yeah, like you said, it's Bianca Belair won by going John Cena mode on everyone and wins it. This one was a bit shorter than the men's elimination match. This was 23 minutes and 45 seconds. Oh, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So yeah, that was that.
This match shouldn't have happened.
It shouldn't have. It really should. Like even when they announced it, and then the segments leading up to it, it was absolutely poor. I feel the one person I actually feel bad. Well, two people actually feel bad at this whole thing. They haven't had a good run. To an extent, Liv Morgan, but definitely Rhea Ripley. She has been, in my opinion, been put through the ringer. Sure, she's tag team champions with Nikki Ash and whatnot, but ever since she lost the title, to Charlotte, she hasn't been the same. Like she is not. They've done her bad. Like when she first had the NXT title last year, she lost it to Charlotte. That would there was some time for it to get her back on the right path, and then she won the title against Asuka, lost it again to Charlotte, and again it's been very choppy in my opinion. And I don't think she's up to the same level of heights as she used to be, or in NXT. I know.
Their build. Go on.
No, I was gonna say I know that once you get to the main roster, your NXT run is pretty much defunct. Like it doesn't matter at all. But yeah, I just don't think I'm not saying that they've ruined her, but I don't know. I think they could have done a lot better, and I think they pretty much just drugged her through the mud in a way. Like you don't feel the urgency to care for her anymore. And I thought she had a lot of potential. Like
compared to Belair, it's like like I say, with Bianca Belair, when they both kind of came up, because they came up at the same time, right? They were drafted. Is that how they came up? No. Yes.
No. Bianca Belair came up first. She was there during the beginning of the Performance Center era, and then Rhea Ripley came back in the Royal Rumble, and then that's when she came up, and then challenged Asuka at WrestleMania.
Asuka. Yeah. Right. But in terms of that, it's see it as both of them. Yeah, Bianca Belair got drafted a whole year ago. She came up. She actually debuted at WrestleMania, innit? On the pre-show.
Who?
Wasn't she Bianca Belair? Didn't she interfere in the Street Profits, Andrade, Zelina Vega?
I think so, probably. Yeah, probably.
So she was on Raw by that point. Whether that was drafted or not, I can't remember. But she was on Raw by that point. And then I guess, yeah. So she had a run, but she wasn't really doing anything. By the Rumble, by the Rumble, that's now I guess her time to kind of, because they were really pushing for her, and she got that whole. They put out 24 about her. She's been doing lots of promotions and all of that sort of stuff. And so she was getting the kind of, this is who we need to now kind of be paying attention to.
Yeah.
With Rhea Ripley, it was almost I feel like when she came up to the main roster, wasn't she kind of everyone was over her?
In a way, because they took too long bringing her up, because there was quite a bit of hype to her. And then, they kept on promoting her, she's coming soon, and then, she just randomly showed up, a couple weeks before Mania and started challenging Asuka. It didn't really make sense, because the reason people were over her, because she was
handed the match.
Sorry?
She was handed the match?
Yeah, she was pretty much handed the match, yes, because she didn't have no matches prior. No one saw her for, I think, since the Royal Rumble. She put in a great time. She put in a great shift in there. I think that's why people were just okay, why does she kind of get it? And when she hasn't really been built up properly to earn that, her last title was the NXT title, and now you're gonna get grafted the WWE Women's Time Championship. I don't know, but it wasn't handled the best way, 110%, for her to warrant it. And her run as women's champion was not great either. It was really short.
I don't remember anything from it.
Exactly. It was really it was mainly centered around her and Charlotte. And
Charlotte won.
And they had 2 or 3 matches. So the first one was where Rhea Ripley got disqualified, even though she was the babyface. And it was really weird. Then there was odd segments where they were both. I remember this awful one where they were both on crutches, and then apparently they both lied. They pretended they were on crutches, and then they started swinging at each other. It was really weird. And then I think ultimately that's when there wasn't a triple threat match between her and Nikki Ash. And Charlotte, and that's when Charlotte won. I think I might be getting twisted. I might be getting twisted together.
No, that's Nikki won that one. Didn't she retain?
Maybe, probably, yeah.
Nikki was champion.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it was just another one-on-one match between Charlotte and Rhea. Then obviously Charlotte won, and then that's when Nikki Ash won the next night again. And then that's when Charlotte won it back at SummerSlam or whatever it was. But yeah, either way, like I said, her title run was very, very forgettable and very shoddy because it just was used as a way to just make Charlotte be Charlotte pretty much. And it was just ultimately forgettable. So that's why you don't remember it. So yeah, I went off a tangent there. But I just feel like Rhea Ripley was definitely, I think she deserves more. That's what I'm basically saying. She deserves more because I think she is great. She was great in NXT, but I know that doesn't mean jack shit to Vince. No matter how good you are. Just ask Karrion Kross. Oh wait, you can't.
Right.
So yeah.
On the turn block.
Yeah, but definitely. I forgot to even mention. This I think this happened before this match, or maybe a couple matches beforehand. But there was a little segment where a limo pulled up, and
that was on the pre-show.
Oh, that was on the pre-show. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, a limo pulled up, and random superstars was outside just waiting. And then out comes Vince McMahon. And not only that, he goes back into his car, comes out with a random egg. Well, it's ain't a random egg. It is the actual egg that was in the Netflix film Red Notice that features The Rock, which by the way, this show was very Rock heavy, considering it wasn't there. And so. Right. And then he was just showing it up, and he was just bragging about it, saying, keep cheering and all this kind of stuff. And then it cuts to this other random segment where Roman Reigns walks up to his office, to Mr. McMahon's office, and then he tells him to sit down, and he said, basically said, you know what this is? This is Cleopatra's egg. It is worth $100 million. And in my head, I'm just like, okay, so you spend $100 million on this egg, but you can't bother to keep 70 or 80%, 80 wrestlers under your payroll. Okay. So.
Well. when you're trying to streamline a company, I mean, the person that's gonna go is the talent. So I mean. Vince just wants that Disney money. That's what he wants. That's what he
does want that Disney money, 100%, definitely. So yeah, he's all bragging about it. Then Roman Reigns comes out saying, "Well, that's all fine and dandy. That better be just as my next contract," or whatever he said under his breath.
Yeah, some weird. And I don't know why Roman was involved in that segment. Like, more people were like, why Roman?
It's because it's The Rock, isn't it? It's The Rock's movie, and it didn't make no sense. Absolutely no sense. It didn't, and it was. It was just another. Remember that awful zombies movie match that we had for that other movie?
I remember it. Did I watch it? No.
Fair enough. But yeah, it was. So it's obviously another promotional thing regarding that Netflix movie. But yeah, obviously, all in all, that it seemed like they were teasing The Rock versus Roman Reigns. That was the assumption. And then later in the night, then of course I think it was after this match, the women's match. That's where you see DeVille and Pierce in Vince McMahon's office, busy saying, "Oh yes, it's a great show" and all that kind of stuff. And then he just randomly turns to the right and is like, "Well, where's my egg? Where's my egg? Where's my egg?
Someone stole my egg.
Someone stole my.
Find out who stole it.
Is it his stinky people from Brooklyn? Is it my slimy production crew? I'm like, why are you calling your own employees slimy?" And he was like, "No, it's definitely one of the soup." This reminded me, before I finish, this reminded me of when you play them crappy mobile games and it comes up with these goofy storylines like help Vince McMahon find the egg, or who could it be? This kind of that's what it felt like. It was I'm playing a very bad pay to win mobile game, and it's coming with these bullshit storylines. It was really hokey. So
I think it was their way of trying to get us to watch Raw tonight, because he did mention something about they'll find out something to do with Raw. So
yeah, it's been confirmed that both Raw and SmackDown roster will be at Raw tonight to find out who stole his egg. So yeah, whatever. Absolutely had no place in the show. And God, how bad is Vince on promo segments now?
He's an old man.
I know,
what
but
do you want from him?
stay away. Like know your limits. Like your time is done. But it was, I don't know. I mean, but back then he was fairly old. Like not old, but I mean,
Vince McMahon's always been old. Same as Ric Flair.
That's what I'm saying. So that
They've
like
always been old to me. So.
that's what I'm saying. So
I've never known them young. Even Hulk Hogan, I've never known them to be young. But yeah, we're like, oh yeah, in their heyday. And I'm like, I mean, even when I was younger, he was still old. So I mean,
that's what I'm saying. So it's like there's no excuse then. You know what I'm saying? I know he's getting older, but I'm just like, it's just a fall from grace. Like you said it yourself. It's always been old. But yeah, it had no place for it. Really awful timing. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that whole segment. So unless you got anything else to say to that.
No, like in all honesty, it was that thing where after the women's match, they literally did that thing where they, oh yeah, we didn't mention they randomly played like these superstar packages.
Dude, what the fuck was wrong with Bobby Lashley? Why?
Yeah, it was like so. Remember I told you like Bobby Lashley got one, Drew McIntyre got one, and they both were counted out of their matches. I told you they don't need. What's it called? They don't need they didn't need the match, but yet they both got like these like big old hype packages.
Why? It had no place in that whole show. The whole thing.
Yeah, it was so random.
Bobby Lashley's one made him look like a baby face.
Yeah, and then this is the thing. In his one, it does that thing where it's like they will talk about, oh, you know, he's like the collegiate background, the athlete, all that sort of stuff. And I remember like watching it, and I'm saying to my brother, I'm just like, they keep doing this, so they keep humanizing Bobby Lashley. He's not that guy. Like, I mean, I'm not to take that away from him or to kind of like put him down in that respect, but it's like I don't sit there, watch wrestling, and think to myself, I wonder about Bobby Lashley's background. Like, I wonder where did he come from? Like I really wonder like about the man behind Bobby. No, he's not that superstar. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many superstars that you could be like, oh, you know, yeah, the man behind the character or anything like that. Bobby Lashley is not that guy. He never will be that guy. Yeah. So why do they keep pushing these? Like even the broken skulls of Bobby Lashley, like the shortest one that Stone Cold has done. In, like,
Steve didn't give a damn. He was just like.
No, because there's nothing to talk about with Bobby Lashley. Nothing to talk about of interest.
He's got a very like average person background. Like it's
it's like you can talk about things that he did in Impact / TNA or whatever, and you can talk about like, you know, the coming up in OVW and all the stuff that again we already see on the documentaries and stuff. We already know it, but it's like he's just not the one that we need, like a reality series, a 24, a this, like Bobby Lashley in the spotlight. He's not. We don't sit there thinking about that. Honestly, I don't think we sit there and think about that with Drew McIntyre either. But yet, I understand it with Drew McIntyre because he's the face.
Yeah.
So it's like they're gonna humanize the face. It's like, okay, that makes sense because and also he's got more of a history because he's the chosen one.
Yeah.
He was this. He was that. So like, you know, it makes more sense. We don't want to see it, but it makes more sense. Bobby Lashley, no one sits there and thinks, do I want to know Bobby Lashley's the man behind the character? No one thinks that, but it is what it is. And then also, they randomly gave us some big old comic book strip of Jia Lee. Like, she's not going to get released in 3 weeks. So, you know. You know.
Oh, my God.
And the worst thing is that I was so kind of like watching her promo and stuff, right? And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I don't want to be that guy, but wasn't that like low-key offensive?
No, I wouldn't say it's offensive. It is very standard, bog standard of the
comic
Asian
book,
culture.
Like,
I'm sorry, it's like you've seen that the amount of times you see that in every martial arts movie, like, or you know, it's very common. It's very bog standard. There was nothing wrong with her thing before, and I got a feeling they're trying to mainstream her. That's what they're trying to do. So I feel like the gimmick that she had in NXT, I think that's dead and buried. I think that's now they're gonna.
What was the gimmick then?
Well, she was
just like the fans. Was she the fans?
Yeah, she was a babyface, but then she was more darker. She had braids. She there was a storyline with this really gloomy, spooky character. I don't know. She looked like something from The Ring. But then she basically got I think she got not kidnapped, but she basically went to her hometown or whatever, and then that's when she basically became more hardened and more of a literal badass. Like she was like a female Tajiri, but it's more hard hitting. Now I feel like they are definitely watering that down to the point where it's like diluted, and come up with this standard story.
Superhero, they're making her Ricochet.
If that, maybe, I don't know. It's I mean, I appreciate that they're going. You know, it's not every day that you get a comic strip or like this kind of promo, but I mean, first off, I don't buy it, and second, the way they are chopping down people right now, boy.
They gave her all of this, and you watch in 3 weeks.
I mean, just let everyone know, we don't wish anyone to lose their jobs or anything like that. But come on now, like the way they've let go of 80 people, no matter how recent they've been on TV, they don't give a damn who you are. Just ask Hit Row. So yeah.
Oh my God! Don't do that. I was so upset about that. So upset. But let's do main event, and then we'll get into releases.
Yeah. So the main event was, of course, Roman Reigns versus Big E, champion versus champion, and first off, let me get your thoughts on that. What do you think of that match?
This match woke me up. Mm-hmm. So because the Survivor Series by this point was very kind of like, is this still going on?
Yes.
I remember, but then mind you, I followed that with AEW, like with their Full Gear. Is that what it's called?
I agree. Yeah. It had some.
I thought that one was just. It was never ending. Oh my God.
Yeah. It had a lot of matches. Yeah.
We're like, okay, main event time. Oh no, it's CM Punk and Eddie Kingston. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about this match. And then you're like, main event time. And you're like, Stampede match. Oh my God, I forgot about this match. Or whatever it was. It's just like matches just kept coming. Yeah. And I'm just like, come on, get to the main event already. Like I'm tired.
Yeah.
The same review kind of felt the same, but I knew all that stuff were happening, so it was just that they were dragging it on. Like between the women's match and this main event, they literally played about half an hour of promos.
Yes,
kind of like I understand that you need to kind of give us a breathing space, but whoa.
That's why I kind of missed the Thunderdome era, because like a lot of pay-per-views were like just over 3 hours or just under 3 hours. Like there was that was fine. That was cool. I get to get an extra hour's sleep, but yeah, they was definitely they dragged a lot of shit in this one. But yeah, and then even when it's that thing when you're watching it and they played. They did this thing where for the main event or whatever it is, they have their hype package, and they always make it like super duper long. Mm-hmm. And it's also the hype package that they show you about 3 times on the pre-show. Yes. So you've seen this hype package like 3 times already. Mind you, again, the pre-show is on the background for me. I wasn't watching it, but I've seen they played it 3 times on the pre-show, and then they closed out the pre-show with that promo. Parts of that promo are in the opening for Survivor Series, like that little promo to open the show. And then now we're going to get to the main event, and they play that exact same promo all over again. You're like, oh my God. And that promo itself is like 10 minutes long. Yeah. And then their entrances are happening. And Roman Reigns' entrance is like 5 days long. And it's just like Undertaker-esque. Like, by the time, mind you though, okay, I do love his entrance. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm invested. But see it as it's their main event or whatever. So on the network, like when it says schedule now, the network said that The Rock's ruthless aggression or whatever was starting at 4. So I'm like, okay then. Well, sorry, 4 a.m. in us. I guess that's what, midnight in their time or 11. Something like that. Yeah, 11. Yeah. So so you kind of think to yourself, okay then. So the pay-per-view is 3 hours long, but the women's match ended at like 3:50 something in the morning, and you're like, hold on, there's a whole main event to happen yet. So what happens to 4 o'clock? Like, where are we coming here? And then, like I told you, so by the time we reached these half-an-hour promos, the opening for their match, and then their entrances, their actual match started at something like 20 past 4, or like nearly 4:30, and you're like, oh my God, like, yeah. So there's that. Then when the match happened, I was very kind of like, I think we got about 10 or 15 minutes in, and I remember thinking, like, what has happened? Because, like, nothing was happening. It was kind of just, like, brawling and just, like, nothing. I think the 2 things that happened were, like,
Biggie doing the splash on the thing.
Yeah, the hard apron.
Splash on the apron, and then Roman Reigns did the drop kick. But that had been it.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it was kind of like nothing had happened. Like they were just kind of there. And then I guess the match started picking up, and you're like, "Oh, okay, I'm invested. Like, let's get going. Like, something's happening." And then I'm not gonna lie, the one part of the match that did get me, or it kind of evoked a reaction at me, was that Biggie kicked out of the spear. Okay. Now, I understand that Biggie has to be on Roman's level, and Biggie is meant to be at that kind of. The way that they were building the match is that Roman had to be brains because Biggie was brawn. Get it?
Yeah.
Because at the beginning, in the test of strength, Biggie was stronger. So therefore, okay, Roman Reigns has to play smart as opposed to him being the powerful one, which he normally is. But when you see Biggie kick out of the spear, and the worst thing is that everyone was okay with that. I'm like, no, you can't kick out of Roman Reigns' spear. Like, John Cena can only take one. How is Biggie kicking out of it? It was so, and it was kind of like one of those ones that you're just like, no, like he kicked out of the spear, and I was like, oh, okay. And then when he hit the big ending, but Roman didn't kick out, Roman touched the ropes. I was like, no, they can't do this. I'm like, if Biggie's gonna kick out clean from a spear, then Roman has to kick out from the big ending, but he didn't. He grabbed the ropes, so I'm like, fine, whatever, it is what it is. But then the end just kind of came out of nowhere.
A little bit, yeah. It didn't feel definitive. Yeah, it definitely didn't feel definitive. It was. I agree. It was a great match. It took a while to get into it. But yeah, that ending was just randomly. Yeah, it just came in, just chopped him at his knee, which is something that he doesn't really do. That's something that the Usos do when they, that's what they did to Kofi. And then random spear out of nowhere. They
and
definitely
it's like 1, 2, 3. You're like, oh.
Yeah, definitely. I did hope that Roman was going to win. Carries on his streak, and they're building him to be basically the greatest of all time, and why not?
But weirdly enough, though, it's like, how can I put it? I wanted Roman to win, but another thing going into that match, it was kind of like we're having this match for no reason.
Oh yeah, 100%, 110%.
The match didn't actually matter, like in the sense of it's just kind of, it was more. I guess that they were trying to bill it as more of being a pride thing. So like,
I mean, there is slight, like, obviously he's linked to the New Day, and obviously Reigns is, he took out Xavier Woods, his bloodline is taken out Kofi, he destroyed the crown, and obviously so they try to feed that into it, but. Yeah, there wasn't no high stakes or anything. Like you say, it was definitely more of a pride thing. 110%.
Yeah, so by that point, Raw was like 5-1 up. So it's like, well, SmackDown can't exactly like, win the entire thing by, winning this one match. So it's kind of like, at this point, we're having this match for no reason.
Yeah.
But then it's also a thing of, there was kind of like a point with pay-per-views where Roman Reigns couldn't celebrate.
Yeah.
So it would be like, at Money in the Bank, when he was celebrating, John Cena came out.
Yeah.
And then at SummerSlam, when he was celebrating,
Brock Lesnar
came out.
Yeah.
And then, what's it called? I think Crown Jewel was the only time that he got to he didn't even celebrate. He crawled out of the arena when he won or whatever, right? So this time around, it's that.
No, he definitely did. He crawled out in pain, but he was with the Usos at the time as well. He didn't kind of celebrate, but get gone.
But then it's like this time around, it was kind of like that thing where, again, you're like, oh, they've already been kind of throwing out these jabs that The Rock might return or whatever. Yeah. And they said in the Paul Heyman segment, he was like, she was like, Lesnar's
no longer defending. Yeah.
So he can return at any point. So then I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, so that would mean that Lesnar's really going to return tonight, give Big E the win, and get that story going, whatever. But then it was like, but when Roman got the win, you're like, oh, so who's this gonna hit? Who's this gonna hit? And then next thing you know, Michael Cole's like, thank you, everyone. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Absolute fail.
Like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, wait. And then literally it was kind of, thank you everyone for watching the Survivor Series, good night. And then they kind of just like, Roman didn't even get up the ramp. They kind of like ended it and cut it like there and then. You're like, oh. It's like, oh.
Yeah. Everyone was completely confused, and then literally 5 minutes later, you see Rock go on his Instagram, and he basically posted a picture of him with the sandwich. He was nowhere near there. Everyone was just like, okay, so I guess you're not a Survivor Series then. For fuck's sake, what happened? So yeah, again, yeah. As I said at the beginning of the show, this pay-per-view ended with a whimper. As good as the main event was, it would have definitely brought up its stock if it was Rock or if it was Lesnar that came out at the end.
Right.
But yeah, they did the worst thing, and that was neither. And
it just ended, and you're just like, oh, okay. But then, mind you, if we're gonna, I guess, seeing as everyone loves to compare, I feel like, as basic as Survivor Series was, I feel like for AEW, Full Gear was basic as hell as well.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. It was,
it was like their most basic pay-per-view that they've ever had.
There was a lot of matches. I said in my review, there's a lot of matches that felt that they could have been on either Dynamite or Rampage. There were definitely TV matches in there, and even the ones that should be pay-per-view, they were good, but they weren't like all out good, And it's a lot to ask for, I guess, for every pay-per-view to be to a certain level as all out. I mean, there's only so many times you can have two great top-tier superstars or wrestlers come out at the end, and at the end of a great main event. You can't always do that. I understand that, but
is All Out is their WrestleMania, right?
I would say so. Yeah, I would say that's the WrestleMania. I always thought that it was Double or Nothing, but All Out is their WrestleMania. I would say, yeah.
All Out is their WrestleMania, and is it about Summerversary is Impacts, or is it Bound for Glory?
Bound for Glory is Impacts, yeah. Bound for Glory is definitely their WrestleMania. Yeah.
Okay.
Summerversary is their SummerSlam.
Okay. But then so with with Full Gear, it's one of them ones where the MJF match was the match of the night, in my opinion.
Yes.
And it was one of them ones where you couldn't. It's like they set the bar really, really high. However, the end fell flat for me. I guess in story, it was meant to be that is Darby against side headlock or something. I don't know.
No, there was one promo that he said that MJF said, like, I could pin you with a side headlock. It was something like that. So it goes into the story 100%.
But then to me, I kind of feel like, because it kind of just came with, that's how you end it with a side headlock. But Darby Allin's shoulders weren't down, so I thought that was going to be a thing. But apparently they just nixed it, and he's doing his own. They're doing their own things now. So I was like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And then the tag team match, again, that ending made no sense to me. Like,
the Lucha Bros.
Yeah, he put on a whole mask and did something, and then they hit a finisher and then ended. It was like, oh.
Yeah, that was convoluted as hell. I got a feeling that because there's rumors that going on, because obviously the wrong person got pinned. He wasn't the live person, and the ref should obviously caught that. But there was also talk that the bald guy, I can't remember his name. I think he's a Dax. He was actually concussed, so they had to call an audible and then get him in to go and do it. But yeah, that whole thing with the mask was overproduced, and yeah, it definitely damaged that match, because that was a great match.
But then Rusev and Bryan was also not a great match. Well, it was a good match, but then the ending
was weird. Yeah, like Rusev he didn't hit. Don't call him Rusev. He didn't hit Miro. He didn't hit Miro properly with that DDT, and then obviously and then that weird. I mean, it fits into Bryan's repertoire 100% in terms of submissions and whatnot. But yeah, it definitely fell flat, and it took a little bit of a wind out of such a good match as well. Definitely, a lot of matches, great matches, ended with a bit of a whimper. The only one that definitely ended the way it should have and the way it went, to me, in my opinion, was CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston. I enjoyed that match. That one was.
I kind of caught it from, I want to say maybe a few minutes in, because that was one of the matches where, again, I forgot it was happening and whatnot. Even though it was one of their big matches going into the night, it was like at that point, I think they came off their women's match, right? So I went to be just like, just kind of gather myself, and then it was like, oh, CM Punk, Eddie Kingston, and I'm hearing their entrances and stuff, but I was like, sorting myself out and stuff, and then I'll come down. So I think I got to the point when I want to say they were outside the ring. I saw him get busted open, and I saw him do the John Cena tribute. Just all that bit. But then I think it was like somewhere at the beginning where they were outside the ring.
Okay, yeah.
So I missed a chunk where they was probably in the ring or something like that.
Did you see CM Punk's attempt to do the 5 knuckle?
Yeah, I saw the John Cena interview. I saw all that
sorry,
stuff.
yeah.
And then it's like with but again, that was a match that I just felt like I forgot it was even happening, but I was tired, so I was like, oh my god, this match is still happening. And after that, I'm like, okay, main event time, and now they're like 5-on-5, 4 anyway, and I'm like, oh god. And the worst thing is that if I recall, isn't the Stampede match normally at Full Gear?
There was no Stadium Stampede match. What are you on about?
No, but I'm saying, so the Stampede match or whatever, is that normally at Full Gear?
Not necessarily. No, that's usually either Double or Nothing. That's usually Double or Nothing. Okay. Yeah.
But then either way, like these 5-on-5 matches that I know that are like Full Anywhere, Stampede, anything like that, so they're gonna be overproduced matches, which this one was. They were everywhere.
It wasn't like cinematic match like how the Stampede matches were. Definitely they're everywhere, but this one was. I mean, they kept it within the vicinity. It was, they made it actually be Full Scott Anywhere. There were some decent moments. But there was some overly produced spots. I don't trust that Luchasaurus guy. I'm not
He did like a whole shooting star press off the.
It was impressive, thing. But I feel like, like I said in my review, I feel like he does a lot of stuff that he doesn't need to. And because of that, it makes it come across a bit shoddy and a bit unrefined. You know what I mean? It's not smooth. It's not smooth. The way he lands certain things, and sometimes he mistimes stuff, and he just does a bit too much. I understand you're an agile guy, but it feels like he shouldn't have to be agile. You know what I mean? Like it's weird. Like just ask Lance Archer. Look what happened to him. I mean, you know what I mean?
Did he like land on his head or something?
Oh god, it was a bad spot. I watched that live. That was mad. But yeah, we're going on to another promotion. We haven't even finished off the review for Survivor Series.
We finished Survivor Series. We think that was we're on Full Gear right now. So and again, to be honest, you've already reviewed Full Gear. This is just me giving my opinion, and then it's like the Adam Page and is it Adam Page? Is that his name? Adam Page.
Adam Page, yeah, Hangman Adam Page.
And then. Yeah, and then it's like him and Kenny Omega. I was actually invested in that match, and I was, hoping to a degree. I was hoping that so what it was is that I had a bet with it, right? So he was saying that they were going to go with Miro versus Page for the title. So then Omega get with that of the match of the night, kind of like Michael's Undertaker at WrestleMania. It would just be the sleeper. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I hear you.
That's what he did that they were gonna do. So and I was like, I feel the Omega and Daniel Bryan match. And the fact that Daniel Bryan won, so I was like, I see. So now the bet was, I'm give us Daniel Bryan and Omega, and he was like, no, it's going to be Bryan and Page. So we were betting on that, and so I wanted Omega to win. I wasn't going to be upset if Page won, but because Page won, it was like when I had to like down my drink at the time. I had like so much of it to drink, and it was like, it's like 5 in the morning. Do I really want to down all of this? So so I lost the bet, but then it was like, I'm happy for Adam Page. He finally got his, because I guess he's always in the title picture, just never won it, right?
He's never won it. Because when you peep the story, this has been literally 2 years in the making. And it's not been a case of where he had this shot and then he does other stuff and then they try and make with WWE, whereas the thing with it did with Seth and Edge, where obviously that was that one-off segment, and then all of a sudden when they have this rivalry now, they try to match it up, saying that was the catalyst of this, and it's been 7 years in the making. It wasn't like that. It was always a progressive story. There was obviously moments where he did challenge for the title. He challenged it against Jericho. He lost. Then obviously over the course of time, he was having a bit of a downward spiral. Then he won the tag team championships with Kenny Omega. Then obviously he was doubting himself when they lost the titles. Then it came to a championship tournament. to whoever wins will face Jon Moxley. He lost against Kenny Omega. Then he went on a further downward spiral. Then he went away, came back rejuvenated, wins the ladder battle royal to challenge for the title. Then it's just perfect how he goes and fights Kenny Omega to try and win the title, and then he obviously wins the big one. So it was always consistent, not always in your face like how WWE does it, but it was, you could see the natural progression, and you could see that they were trying to make him be the face of AEW, like, you know, without having to rely on Jericho, without having to rely on someone that's already made. Because no one knew Adam Page. Well, I never knew him when he first started. So you can see the natural progression, and it took 2 years, and yeah, it's been ongoing, and they've done it perfectly, in my opinion. I mean, I didn't get
the storytelling in the match though, because like, so what, Young Bucks kind of gave permission to win.
I think they realized that with the Young Bucks, they realized that Kenny Omega, they could see that Kenny Omega was done. Like, you know, so obviously he gave him the warning saying, if you interfere in my match, I will end your shit. I will fuck you up. That's what Hangman Page said. So, but they could see during that match, you know, they could see that he wants it more than Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega was a belt collector. He was, and then obviously he's lost the titles along the way, and they could see that it's definitely Hangman Page's time now. So that's what they said. Yeah, it's just put him out of his misery, and then he did. So it made sense with the Young Bucks siding with Hangman. I see the reason why they sided with them. Yeah, it just I think it was just perfect storytelling, and you know, that's something that we haven't seen WWE do in a long time. Yeah, and I'm not. By the way, guys, I'm not a AEW mark. This is just being a smart person and not being in denial with how bad the storytelling is with WWE sometimes. Come on, come on, dude, come on now. Don't start. Don't start. But yeah,
you can be a WWE mark. I said you can be an AEW mark. I'm not gonna doubt you for that. But then don't dress it up as you not being one.
No. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of both of them. But you just gotta call a spade a spade. WWE's logic of things is not good, whereas AEW. Not saying that AEW gets it right a lot all the time, because they fucking don't sometimes. But you know, it's still it's more convincing than how WWE ever puts it across. That's what I'm saying. I think it's in most where it matters most. I'd say.
My thing with AEW is that I just feel like AEW is messy, and I've said this.
I know you said it. I still don't understand it. I don't know how. I don't know if I can agree with it.
It's a thing where. So, like I said, I feel like when you watch old school, this is comparison conversation. It is what it is. When you watch old school WWE, WWF, whatever you want to call it, when you watch old school videos of that, and you watch the pay-per-view, for example, like I think I watched one pay-per-view when it was like, I'm gonna say maybe like in the 90s, and it was like, I think it was No Mercy One Night Only, or whatever it was when they were in the UK, and it's like for the main event, it was like, you know, I think it's Stone Cold and Undertaker maybe, or Stone Cold and someone. Because he was always in the main event. And it's like, you know, when like this one person interferes and whatnot, and then this other person interferes, but then this one person who interferes because they literally had a conversation about 8 weeks ago on Raw and whatnot, that just meant nothing, but for some reason he feels to be involved in this match. There's a ref bump, there's this, there's like so much going on, and there's like 76 people down at this ring just trying to end this match kind of thing. I feel like AEW is the same, because I'll be watching it. And then it was like, I think I watched the match where, wasn't it FTR or whatever, so the revival, I guess. They beat maybe the Lucha, no, was it Lucha people? I don't know, they beat someone or whatever. And then, what's it called? Randomly Pac comes down or whatever, but I guess he's affiliated with them or something. And the next thing you know, Andrade and Aleister Black coming out, Aleister Black spitting in someone's face, and it's like, what is going on here? Like,
okay,
where is this coming from?
So yeah, no, that I understand. That was a bit random, because that was when Andrade and Malachi Black was siding with, Malachi Black was siding with Andrade, and then Pac came down, and Cody Rhodes came down as well.
Yes.
I understand.
Yes.
Yeah. That was a bit random. Even that tag match was random when at Full Gear. I understand that. Sorry. I ain't gonna lie. They can sometimes. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that AEW are freaking gods, because right now, obviously, at the end of the day, they're still young. Even that's not a good enough excuse, because obviously, you know, there's veterans there. I understand sometimes it can be a bit messy with the productions. I understand that. Just when it comes to, for the most part, when it comes to storytelling, and you can tell that it's not lastminute.com like how WWE is. That's why I appreciate them a bit more. I understand sometimes it can be messy. Like, look at the Revolution pay-per-view with the death match and all this stuff. They try to go all out and it doesn't work out. I understand that. I'm not shying away from that. It can be very cringe. But when it comes to the storytelling and the logic, sometimes for certain storylines, they're doing it much better than WWE ever. Like, when's the last time you think about it? When's the last logical storyline that made sense and had a satisfying outcome? I think the last one for me would be, I guess it is kind of recent. Sasha against Bianca, and it culminated
that was going to be my example. That's the only one I can think of recent time.
Exactly, your recent. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, of recent. Whereas with AEW, I can think of obviously Kenny Omega and Hangman. I can think of MJF and Darby. I can think of maybe not CM Punk and Darby, because that was kind of lastminute.com. But there's multiple points. There's multiple of recent memory that I can think of more than I can of WWE, where it's just all coupled up most of the time, and then they just splooge them out together, and they put tag teams randomly together saying, can they coexist? And then they're all of a sudden tag team champions. It doesn't make you believe in them. Whereas for the most part, in my opinion, when it comes to AEW, sometimes they get it right, sometimes they get it very wrong. But I'm just saying, they have a better winning streak than WWE. That's all I'm saying. That, you know, they're yeah.
And I get that. My thing is for me, sometimes I just feel like I'm watching the show and it's just like randoms are just coming to the ring randomly, and it's just like, who is this person? Why do
I can't defend that. I can't defend what you said about parking on them, because that was definitely random. I mean, like, these guys. Then
another example was, I watched one, I can't remember what match it was, but I watched something, but then I think randomly the Private Party people and Matt Hardy came out, and it was just like, why is this happening? Like, what is this affiliation? And then he was like, oh, Matt Hardy's just doing this, and I'm just like, why? And I can't remember what that was on. Was that on a Rampage? Was that on the...
That most like, because Matt Hardy's mostly resided to... He's been resided to Rampage for the most part. And I know he's got beef with Orange Cassidy.
They just came out and attacked someone. I think maybe it was Orange Cassidy. I don't even remember. It randomly came out and attacked someone. Or even when you look back at Full Gear, like, these random people came out. I guess, okay, they're not random because I guess they're part of whomever MJF's people are.
Oh, the Pinnacle.
Yes, that's the name. Yes, when they're part of that, and then Sting just randomly came out and started beating up with a baseball bat. I'm like, oh my god, like, what is this? And then it's like, you see when Cody Rhodes will come out or whatever, and then Arn Anderson walks out, and then he's like fighting with this person dressed in purple. No, was that match? No, the person in purple was the Young Bucks match. No, the purple one was the Young Bucks match, and that random guy with the camera in the purple, and it's just like, who's this guy? Like, what is going on? And the Young Bucks come to the ring with like a whole like team of people. Like, they're not a team. It's just like,
there's a team. It's a super clique. I mean, or the Elite. Yeah, like Brian Cutler is the camera guy. There's Adam Cole, Young Bucks. Those three, that's the super clique, and then obviously when you add Kenny Omega, then that's the Elite. That's them. So
I think Bobby Fish is in there now too.
No, right? He's not. He's not. I hope they don't put him in there.
He was teaming with Adam Cole and stuff on Rampage.
I know.
So, he was in there.
No. Yeah, but he's not part of the clique. I think it's just +1. But I'm just hoping they're not trying to do, you know, like a Undisputed Era ripoff. I don't want him to do that. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't want it to go on there. But I know they were teasing with certain words that they were using. It was a bit on the nose. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, Bobby Fish can definitely be like, you know, the outsider coming in for extra help. But yeah, I don't think it's part of the super clique. I don't think so. They haven't said anything like that. So, but
I mean, I mean,
whatever, nigga.
I don't dislike. I don't dislike. I like all wrestling. I need to start watching Impact more, but I like all wrestling. But it's like I just feel like weirdly enough, maybe I'm just a casual viewer nowadays. But yeah, AEW just comes across as messy. Even Impact to a degree comes across as messy.
I think Impact is the king of messiness. Like I can't watch a whole pay-per-view or a whole show. I mean, like there's some good people there, and I can't take the setting seriously.
It's still PC.
Yeah, that's why I can't take it seriously, man. I just can't. It's weird.
But
so
you know what? So moving forward, I think we should make a pact to watch Hard to Kill.
I heard that's the one. Is that the one that's gonna have the first ever X Division women's match?
Women's match, yeah.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see that. I don't know nothing. The only person I know about in there is Jordan Grace. I think she's gonna be a star in the future.
She's the digital
her
champion right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what the women's
I think it's Mickey James.
Oh, it's to future women's championship match, but the women's champion is Mickey James, and her and Diana Perez, whatever her name is, that woman, they're having their rematch at Hard to Kill.
Okay, all right, yeah, fair enough.
That's the only match that's been set for Hard to Kill so far, which is weird that that match got the headline. And then I know that the Inspiration / the Iconics are in Impact now, and then my man Moose is champion. So you know what, they're doing stuff. I'm just not watching it. So.
Yeah, they're hard. Yeah, I just don't watch the shit. Yeah,
right, so it's like it seems like good stuff is happening. I'm just there. I just haven't watched it yet. So yeah, I think I'm making a promise to myself to try to watch Hard to Kill.
Okay, fair enough. I'll let you know if that happens. If I give us most likely I'm gonna forget. Just remind me.
We're all going to do it. Yes, we're all going to do it. We're all going to sit there. We're all going to watch Impact Hard to Kill.
All right.
I'm going to find a promotional poster and put it in the group.
Fair enough. All right, that's cool. Okay, so that was our thoughts on both Survivor Series and Full Gear. We just blended into Full Gear just like that. But yeah, let me know your thoughts as well in the comments below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. As I said, was Survivor Series up to par with you? Do you think it was below par? Was it?
It was a WWE pay-per-view. I mean, it was no less, it was no more. It was exactly what it says at the tip.
Fair enough. All right, so I didn't even get a rating from you. Like, what would you rate it out of 10? Don't think hard. Just come on.
I'm going to give Survivor Series a 6.5.
I would say the same as well, to be honest.
The set looked good. The set looked good. Good lighting. so we get 6.5.
That says a lot. That says a lot. You're saying the good lighting.
I liked how the fans looked at my TV, like, you know.
It gets an extra half point for that, definitely.
Right. The stream was really clear. Like, you know, the 6.5.
Fair enough. So yeah, 6.5 for me as well. Be sure to leave your reviews in the comments, guys.